everyone, this is Logan. Welcome to Transtastic Thursday, week 3. I'm actually in my office at work, so that's the different vibes around me. It's empty and full of trash at the same time somehow, but yeah, because I work in a school, but no students actually come in here because I do data stuff, so check out all of the trash on my desk. I do not work well with organization, so I know where everything is. It's a good representation of my brain. Anyway, today, as everyone else has done this week, the topic is the personal journey. So I kind of have it pulled up on my computer screen while I'm recording. I don't think that today's video will be as long for me, just because I've kind of like brushed over a lot of different facets of my life, like dance and things like that. So let's see. I want to give like a framework. Growing up, I live in like rural southern Ohio, so conservative area out in the country, blah blah blah. My grandma always lived with us, so from the time I was little she had been with us, and she passed away a couple years ago. But growing up, she was like in the house and like took care of us and everything. So she was like an additional adult in the house. My parents like were like together and separated a lot, but like she was there throughout. And she kind of like was always, I mean, she was a grandparent. Like a lot of people probably have, I don't want to say a lot, but people probably have good associations with like old people, like grandparents. And I had a really good relationship with her. I felt like I could talk to her about anything, and even though we were like generations apart, I felt like she always like didn't judge me, so it was really healthy to have her around like while I was coming out and like just growing up in general. Let's see. When I was in school, so I started school when I was 4. So I started school like a year, like I was like a cusp, like birthday. So September, I got to start when I was 4. So I was younger than everybody, and in the 3rd grade, I think is when they test for things. Maybe it was earlier. No, I think it was 3rd grade. I was like identified to go into like gifted stuff, which was cool because out where we were, like there weren't a ton of students who were like identified. And so like from that point on, I got to like spend a day out of my regular classroom and like doing things that I really loved, and kind of developed a passion for computers and like science-y things. Little did I know that like later on, the competition for that would be much different than the competition in like a small rural school, because I only had like 84 people, something 84, 86 in my graduating class, so it was like a small school. But as a kid, I've always like excelled academically. I've been like anxious a lot, especially after puberty. I kind of got like weird, but before that I was smart and like popular. I was a dancer. I looked very different. I was like feminine. Like, I guess I appeared feminine, but maybe like my energy wasn't that feminine. But regardless, I looked a lot different, and I was like cute and stuff. Let's see. I said before, I think in 7th grade, I got my first pair of like gym shorts that were in like the male section, and I was like ecstatic. And then I got like a pair of jeans that were guy jeans, and I had a boyfriend at the time that let me wear his clothes, because that was back in the day. That's like a cute thing to do, to wear like hoodies and stuff, except I wore like all his clothes. But he was dumb and he didn't know any better, so I didn't know any better. I didn't realize why I was doing it, but I was like cross-dressing back then. Not too much like at school, sometimes at school, but I would be like, oh, like don't worry, it's my boyfriend's clothes. But really it was a lot more comfortable for me. when I was a freshman. Man, I don't have a very good memory, but when I was a freshman, I started dating this girl. Freshman. Started dating this girl, and I was like head over heels about her because, first gay relationships, it's stereotypically like crash and burn, really intense, really fun, but burnout. That obviously happened for me. So I dated her, and then my sophomore year, I took the Compass test, which is like testing to do post-secondary to go to college while you're in high school. So past that, whatever, my junior and senior year, I actually got to go do college classes instead of high school. And at that time, the first 2 years of high school, I had like completely ruined my reputation. I had like turned into like pretty shitty human. I was like too smart and too like antisocial that I like to create, and I liked a lot of attention. So I would do things like hack the computers in the class to make them like pop up with like porn or like things that were like very not good for my reputation. So it was and I was queer. So that was like a huge thing. And there was like this huge fiasco. My sophomore year, I got accused of dating my softball coach, who we were just friends. My softball team like told everyone that I was like sneaking out and seeing her, which I wasn't because I was dating somebody else on the softball team. Long story short, through that experience, we ended up dating, and that's who I got married to. So the thing that they didn't want to happen, they kind of caused it. So it was like perfect transition to leave high school. Like, leave me out of the high school environment that I had kind of, ruined. Most all of, the teachers didn't like me anymore. I didn't have friends. I was turning into just like a piece of shit human. And that was for a variety of reasons, but that's what that was. Went to our community college the last 2 years and was like pretty sure that I wanted to do something in like environmental science when I transferred to OSU. So I got into environmental and natural resource scholars program at OSU. So I started OUC when I was 15, transferred to OSU when I was 17 to do my last 2 years. And after the first 2 months, I was like, I don't want to do any part of this. This is terrible. I switched into sociology and gender studies, which I was like, that's going to ruin my paycheck for the rest of my life. But I wasn't failing any classes. I still graduated in 4 years and all that. It just, I think it was such a shock to go from Chillicothe to a city and be with kids who, for the first time, I wasn't I wasn't so far beyond everyone around me. I think it was an ego thing. So I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving. Going into sociology, which I was passionate about at the time. I really got into social justice. Now I'm kind of regretting it slightly. Academically, academic regret, not because I don't love those issues. It's just that I probably shouldn't have invested so much money into those majors. So when I go back for my master's or PhD, it's definitely going to be not in sociology because I'm not planning on doing research. Why would I do that? Anyway, during that time while I was at OSU, I said before I kind of started exploring polyamory with my then spouse. We dated a few people. I would sell some people separately. Mostly uneventful. I mean, I'm not going to go... If you want to go into that much detail, you can send a message, but Otherwise, it was fine. When I then, after college, didn't know what I wanted to do after college, except, like, be an activist. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So I found City Year, which is, like, a social justice program. Well, it's an AmeriCorps program, but it focuses on, like, academic inequality, like, educational issues, whatever. So, and I could stay in Columbus. So I was like, that sounds perfect. You can do it for 2 years. You get, like, an Ed Award. But honestly, I joined City Year, and I was like, the last place I want to go is in an elementary school. Like, I do not want to see these little shits. And I put middle school, high school, elementary as my ranking. And they placed me in elementary. And I about lost it. I about quit right then and there. I was like, what are these people thinking? Like, this is terrible. I hadn't transitioned yet, like, medically. So I was like, I'm looking super queer. Like, this is terrible. Like, just terrible. I feel like I can't make an impact, blah, blah, blah. That was just me being, like, stuck up bitch. Because once I got there and gave it, like, 2 weeks, I, like, fell in love with the kids, and they are the most fun thing. Like, they are hilarious. At least these kids, they have a lot bigger personalities than other places I've been. But it got me thinking a lot about the impact that you can make, like, across the board, not just in academics. Because I honestly, like, don't tell anybody this because I'm going to be teaching next year. But me personally, I'm not crazy passionate about the academic piece of schooling. I like it, but I'm not crazy about teaching. I never see myself as teaching, like, forever. My mom's a teacher, and I have so much respect for teachers, but as far as me, like, delivering lessons, that's what I'm going to do for a little bit, but it's not where I want to do forever. But yeah, I got into City Year, did the first year. I was like, this is ace. Like, I want to stay here. I'm in elementary. Got to come back as a team leader last year, but you can only do City Year for 2 years. So I did City Year for, like, a summer academy and went to Boston this summer to work, which was really cool. That was interesting because I got to actually be in, like, the communication technology team, which was what I had initially thought I was going to do. And I got to, like, help design, like, an app and, like, do various things with that and, like, data entry, which was, I was like, that's perfect. I really like that. Came back to be an instructional assistant at the school I was served at for City Year, and thought I was signing up to do one thing, ended up doing a different thing, like, in a classroom. And I was like, wait, I did not sign up for this. I loved it, but it kind of throws me off if I'm not, like, prepped for it. So I started in there, like, you're going to be in a kindergarten. And, of course, I had that same thing in, like, kindergarten. Like, I've been with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders the last few years. But the kindergartners are so cute. Like, they are literally the cutest. I need to stop thinking that I know better because I'm probably going to like whatever I do. But now I'm doing, like, behavior data for the school. And definitely not going to get into any details with that. But it's certainly intellectually stimulating. So I'm busy all the time, and I'm constantly problem solving, so that's good. Oh, I forgot this part. My first year, City Year, my team leader, I, like, fell in love with my team leader, and she didn't know it for a long time, and I hadn't started T yet, and she was, like, straight and, like, felt completely out of reach for a billion reasons, like everything across the board, like, we are super different. But long story short, it worked out and is going super well. And as I talked before, it's like whatever specifics in the relationship, but it's great. And she got into Teach for America too, so we're both moving to Tulsa next summer to teach for at least 2 years and do our master's and or PhD programs. So that's good. After that, my long-term goal is to create a diversity center in preferably a rural area, but I'm open. It can be in an urban capacity as well. But I'm going to create a diversity community center to have like multicultural elements that I did in college, to have like a meeting space for various groups and to teach people about other types of people, as well as having like financial literacy, like free information and courses and help for people to like budget and get on their feet, and those just lots of different things like that. There'll also be counseling. I have a lot of good ideas about this center. That's what I focus on most of my like energy on, because I love working. Really love working. I work too much. But yeah, that's mostly everything. So to sum me up, I like to use my brain. I like to use my hands and build things. I'm an anxious person. I feel like a lot of times it's because I can't calm down and my like brain is just going really fast. It's hard for me to talk, especially it's hard for me to talk to adults. Like, I don't know why, but like teachers, I feel like I'm going to choke every time I start to speak, which sucks because I'm like good with kids and I'm like, once I'm comfortable, I'm okay, but it's just hard for me to communicate what I'm thinking unless I'm like writing it down, or like, I don't know. I know I come off like stupid sometimes. People probably think I'm so dumb. Like, honestly, I think I have a lot of anxiety about that too. Is that like, I'm like awkward and like very difficult to like respond to a problem like in an instant, because I feel like I'm thinking too many possibilities, but I probably just come off as like incapable. Whatever. Anyway, that's pretty much me in my life. That's at least job-wise and academically. If I think of anything else, I will add it next week, but that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.